it's time for us to move to a next troop type, which we are going to make a tier list because Season of Strife 6 of course has a different kind of gameplays and of course has different kind of heroes, right? First tier list was about mages, and today we are going to speak about first tier list was about archers, and today we are going to speak about a mage open field tier list, which I hope for a lot of players it will be helpful, because of course it's important to know which heroes are best in slot or which heroes are A tier, B tier, C or D, because you will manage your legendary tokens in a proper way, so you will increase levels and awaken heroes which has highest value, right? So let's begin. We are gonna speak about mage open field heroes, and of course we're gonna include some overall heroes also, and in general all the heroes which are basically used with mage troops and they are performing well, right? Of course, this is my more than 900 days of gameplay experience and hopefully it will be helpful, right? So we are having D, C, B, A, and S tier. I'm gonna start with the D tier and I'm gonna put a hero which I think in his own way it's a pretty useful hero, but unfortunately in terms of like dealing damage there is non-existence. If you are asking for healing and some buffs, actually buff of infirm, which is pretty nice, this is Indis, right? The Indis is used in a different mage groups in open field PvP, and basically the infirm skill which Indis has, which is buffing the damage dealt of mage heroes, is pretty nice, right? Which means Indis will help us to buff our more important heroes, and they are going to get us even more merits, while Indis will keep buffing them, right? That's why Indis will be the lonely hero in this D section. And yeah, like you can easily use Vestals with Indis. Vestals also increase HP buffs and HP in general for nearby allies, and yeah, not a bad strat of a support gameplay, which basically I have using on my archer main account, right? I have even using Indis on my archers. That's how good she can be, right? So yeah, I think Indis will be the lonely hero here. We are not going to put any more heroes in a D tier, and we can easily move to C tier, right? I think in C tier there is a hero which I think might be really good for rallying, but for open field PvP, I believe for like dealing damage, being effective, yeah, I believe Thalia should be C tier. That's totally my own experience and my own thoughts and ideas. Of course, some mage mains might have a different idea, but for open field PvP, I would put Thalia as a C tier, right? For rallies, of course, Thalia won't gonna be C tier. She will be a lot higher, but generally I don't like when there is a one skill which is missing for heroes in open field. Or yeah, there is some cases that one skill is missing, but like at least in 3 skills, one is OP. That's of course good, right? For example, for Magrat, we have Garrison skill, which is not open field PvP, but first skill is such an amazing overpowered skill that we don't care, right? Thalia doesn't really have something like that. She just has one less skill for open field, and that's the reason why I'm putting her on a C tier. She can do a lot of stuffs in terms of buffing, but of course she is way better than Indis, but I can't put Thalia in a higher note than other ones, right? For rallying, alright, not bad, but yeah, for open field PvP, there is a much better ones in my opinion, and we're gonna move forward and gonna check which ones I believe are much better, right? So yeah, Thalia will be the lonely hero yet again in C tier, and we're gonna move to B tier, right? Here we are having, let me check where he is. He should be somewhere, yeah, Bertrand, right? Bertrand, unfortunately for Bertrand, he's single target damage dealer, but fortunately single target damage dealing is amazing for Behemoth also, but since we are speaking about open field PvP, I believe Bertrand has a great skills to be useful in open field PvP, right? Also, the versatility on how many heroes Bertrand can be used, especially for beginners, even some epic heroes, and of course in the late game, Wellstal's Celestials has exclusive artifact, has exclusive warped, so all of these things around makes Bertrand, I think, better than Thalia, right? And that's also a key, right? Whenever a hero has exclusive artifact and warped, which has a perfect synergy, it means, and it actually does a lot more damage and is more effective in open field PvP, right? So that's the reason why Bertrand is B tier. Of course, there is a much better heroes for mages than Bertrand, but Bertrand is of course not the worst hero in general, right? Of course, in the past I had a way worse idea about Bertrand, but I have been thinking about mage heroes, and as you can see, my gameplay continues, and ideas of course are getting better and sometimes maybe worse, right? You guys will decide. So Bertrand is B tier, best B tier mage hero in my opinion, and with Bertrand I would easily put where is his friend Tohar, right? Tohar, why Tohar is there? Why Tohar is better than Thalia? A good question. I believe Tohar is the best mage garrison hero. Of course, Gromara is available, but until Gromara, it was known that when Tohar got update and Tohar can deal damage to multiple targets during garrison rallies, so basically you're gonna run straight rallies on Tohar as a garrison, Tohar will deal damage to everybody, right? So it's like he's actually dealing a super amazing amount of damage, plus Bertrand and Tohar is a great hero pair. Tohar gives a lot of tankiness to Bertrand and so on. And yeah, I believe Tohar is better than Thalia. It might be strange, but that's my honest opinion, right? That's my honest opinion. Let me check if we are missing anybody. Well, so far we are not missing anybody, and we're gonna move. Well, actually, we are missing somebody, and that's actually Thandalin, right? I'm gonna put Thandalin on B tier. Actually, Thandalin is the best B tier legendary hero, then is Bertrand, right? Why Thandalin is B tier and not A tier, for example? In my opinion, we always knew that mage heroes, we wanted to have skills which was dealing damage to multiple targets, right? Of course, we got something like that with Thandalin, but unfortunately, it's not like full damage, right? It's a control damage, like debuff, which is actually dealing damage. Of course, it deals damage to nearby enemies, but it's a ticking damage, it needs some time, and it doesn't have a high skill damage factor, right? So that's the only reason why it's B tier, because everything on A tier and S tier is like full damage dealers, right? And of course, some of them are actually exclusive heroes, which we're gonna speak later. So, in my opinion, Thandalin, best B tier legendary hero. Bertrand is next because it's a single target damage dealer, but yeah, I don't rate Thalia actually. So, we can easily move to A tier, right? We can easily move to A tier. And in A tier, we have some surprising legendary heroes, in my opinion, of course. And one of them are one of the basic heroes, which I have been rating since the day one, and I rate Wellin really highly, right? Since we are speaking that Wellin is a basic hero, and I put I think that because Wellin is basic hero, that's even better, right? Because since the beginning, you will choose Wellin as your primary hero, which you're gonna invest your legendary tokens, and Wellin will be useful on every single stages of the game. Dealing damage to multiple target, amazing buff, skill damage factor buffs, crit rate buffs, which is great. Basically every single warped is usable on Wellin, every single artifact is usable on Wellin, and of course, since the day one, Wellin is available for free-to-play players, for pay-to-play players, basically for everybody, right? That's what makes this hero so good, right? And of course, important aspect, dealing damage to multiple enemies. That's the most important. That's how mages are getting merits. That's how mages are impressive in open field PvP. That's my honest opinion, right? So here we have in A tier Welin, and the next one, of course, we might have a surprise. Surprise, of course, it might not be a surprise for a lot of players, but Gromara, right? Gromara is the newest mage hero in our game, which is Garrison hero. Of course, the skills of the Gromara is basically more of a buffer, but she actually has a pretty high skill damage factor. Whenever we're gonna unveil S tier, you guys will understand why I'm putting Gromara as an A tier, because she has amazing synergy with the best mage hero in the game, and we have to put it there, right? So A tier Gromara is here, right? And also, as I mentioned, I'm not only speaking about mage heroes, we are speaking about heroes which are played with mage troops, right? So we have to speak about everybody. That's why more heroes for A tier, I believe, Magrat and Zaida, right? Magrat and Zaida, as I said, best archer hero pair in the game, but actually one of the best mage hero pair in the game, right? Use it with Celestials, with defensive artifact, or offensive one, depends on your gameplay, and you are going to get amazing amount of merits with this hero pair, even with mages, even with Vestals, even with Celestials, and so on, right? That's my honest opinion. These are still great, and you have to use them basically in almost every single mage hero pairs, right? That's the great part. Like, even if you are archer and you invested your tokens on this hero pair, you can actually use them even with the mages, right? So warpath for this major gameplay for Magrat and Zaida is, of course, even Sand Lizard, some healing, right? Or some damage, depending whichever you have. And yeah, I believe with this we're gonna stop with the A tier, and finally we are going for the S tier, which is the best mage heroes which I believe we have in the game, right? And yeah, we are putting first one, Musyang, Steel, Musyang with Thea, with Celestials, with Tiara of Arbon, even with Tiara of Arbon, with Sapphire Federate, or even with Sand Lizard. Trust me, you are getting amazing amount of merits with this hero pair, right? It's not a mistake that this is so good, because for a while, Musyang was, in my opinion, the best hero in the game, because she was usable in basically every single troop type in the game, right? Some of them were amazing, some of them were less great, but that's the most important for us in overall section of the heroes, right? Heroes should be usable with everything. So Musyang stays there with Celestial gameplay, still great, and we're gonna move to next hero here, right? And the next hero is, of course, Lilia. Lilia, in my opinion, is still amazing. I think she's top 2 best mage hero in the game for open field PvP. Well, if some people think that if new mages came out and old ones will be bad, it's not how Call of Dragons work. We have 5 marches which we can be able to play, and you can use 5 marches, 5 mage marches, right? And we shouldn't really forget that past heroes were great, because generally they are great. So Lilia, dealing damage to multiple targets, Scorch gameplay, Flame, the artifact, which adds the Scourge gameplay also, Sapphire Federate, just go and deal as much damage as you can, right? Also, Lilia is one of the first heroes which was available in Call of Dragons, makes a basic hero, and rating for basic heroes which are still good in Season of Strife 6, of course rises, right? Of course rises, and yeah, in my opinion, Lilia is still S tier, right? But not the best S tier legendary hero, in my opinion. And yeah, finally, we are moving towards to decide to unveil the best mage hero in the game, which is dealing the highest amount of damage, which should be the number 1 priority for every single mage main, or not even mage main, for players who want to have at least one good mage hero pair. That's, of course, Youngming, right? In my opinion, Youngming deals the highest amount of damage out of any mage heroes in the game, has amazing warpath, which is destroying everything which is around, especially in melee range, which is Flaming Manticore, and of course the artifact, which is Dragon Fate, for this hero dealing damage to 5 enemy legions in a circle. And yeah, circle is really big, right? So yeah, Youngming is the best hero in the game. If you guys were asking for the tip on which hero you guys should invest your legendary tokens, yeah, so far Youngming is the best choice, right? So yeah, let's conclude our Mage gameplay open field tier list. Yeah, there is some controversial ones. Some people might think that Thandalin should be A tier, but I believe Thandalin, Bertrand, Tohar kinda same amount of merits. Wellin will have more merits because Wellin can be played with anything, and plus one of the best hero pairs for Lilia in general. Youngming and Gromara is the best magic hero pair which is dealing damage. That's why Gromara should be A tier, because that's the perfect hero pair for Youngming. Magrat and Zaida should be A tier. I believe Magrat and Zaida should not be S tier. A tier is a nice place for them. Wellin, well, basic hero, still good. That's the reason why, of course, you guys know that I rate dealing damage to multiple targets. So yeah, everything kinda sticks, right? The one hero which I rate less is Thalia. Once I had Tohar on the same stage as Thalia, but after the update to Tohar, which got buffed pretty well in my opinion, I believe Tohar got way better than Thalia in general in the game, right? So yeah, that's the tier list for Magic gameplay open field heroes. Of course, I'm interested about your ideas and thoughts. If you like my tier list, of course, share it, press like, comment, subscribe. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody amazing day, morning, and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.